Las Vegas updated and projected expansion complete lineup for 2028 NBA season. Point guards: Ty Jerome, 6'5", 195 pounds, 29 years old, 19.9 points, 2.9 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1 steal, 0.2 blocks, 41% three-point shooter, 87% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. JerAve, 6'3", 195 pounds, 24 years old, 8.5 points, 2.6 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 0.6 steals, 0.4 blocks, 37% three-point shooter, 80% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Bronny James Jr., 6'3", 210 pounds, 22 years old, 2.1 points, 0.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 0.3 steals, 41% three-point shooter, 80% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Shooting guards: Tyler Hero, 6'5", 205 pounds, 26 years old, 21.4 points, 4.9 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 0.7 steals, 0.3 blocks, 39% three-point shooter, 92% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Benedict Maturin, 6'5", 210 pounds, 23 years old, 18.5 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.3 blocks, 31% three-point shooter, 87% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Royce O'Neal, 6'6", 226 pounds, 33 years old, 9.9 points, 4.8 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.1 steals, 0.4 blocks, 40% three-point shooter, 70% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Jordan Clarkson, 6'3", 194 pounds, 34 years old, 9 points, 1.7 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.4 steals, 33% three-point shooter, 80% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Small forwards: Jonathan Kuminga, 6'7", 225 pounds, 24 years old, 12.7 points, 6.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 0.5 steals, 0.3 blocks, 36% three-point shooter, 73% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Cam Whitmore, 6'7", 230 pounds, 22 years old, 9.2 points, 2.8 rebounds, 0.7 assists, 0.7 steals, 0.4 blocks, 28% three-point shooter, 74% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Side Sissoko, 6'6", 200 pounds, 22 years old, 5.7 points, 2.3 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.4 blocks, 31% three-point shooter, 67% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Paul George, 6'8", 220 pounds, 36 years old, 16 points, 5.1 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.5 steals, 0.5 blocks, 38% three-point shooter, 85% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Power forwards: Julian Champagny, 6'7", 218 pounds, 25 years old, 11.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.5 blocks, 38% three-point shooter, 83% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Dorian Finney-Smith, 6'7", 220 pounds, 33 years old, 3.3 points, 2.7 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.5 steals, 0.2 blocks, 27% three-point shooter, 100% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Julian Phillips, 6'8", 198 pounds, 23 years old, 2.8 points, 1.1 rebounds, 0.2 assists, 0.6 steals, 32% three-point shooter, 88% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Centers, Sandro Mamukelashvili, 6'9", 240 pounds, 27 years old, 10.7 points, 4.8 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 0.7 steals, 0.5 blocks, 37% three-point shooter, 76% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Paul Reed, 6'9", 210 pounds, 27 years old, 7.1 points, 4.4 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.9 blocks, 33% three-point shooter, 63% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. Al Horford, 6'9", 240 pounds, 40 years old, 8.3 points, 5 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 0.7 steals, 1.2 blocks, 36% three-point shooter, 87% free throw shooter in his 2025-2026 NBA season averages. This is the updated and projected expansion complete lineup for the Las Vegas in the 2028 NBA season. Do you think this lineup will be a contender team in the NBA? Just comment it below.